Hello, my name's Carol Smith from North East Counselling Services. We're a counselling agency based in the northeast of England, and we provide counselling support for people all over the UK by way of Zoom and telephone. One of the things I was asked to do when the COVID lockdown started was to think about how that might have an impact on mental health for people who are working from home who maybe weren't used to it. And one of the things that I thought about was how your personality and how you react to things can have an impact on you working from home. So this short presentation today is to get you thinking about what is your personality and can you change some of the things that you do to help you to improve your mental well-being. First of all, I'd like to think about what is mental health. We talk about mental health all the time as though it's something that is just either there or it's not, when actually your mental health is a spectrum. We've all got mental health, but sometimes it's at the positive end, so you're feeling great and it's a good mental health, and other times it's at the left-hand side, poor mental health, where you might require professional support. But most of the time, we're moving between the different ends of the spectrum, and probably we settle on a functioning method which is down towards the right hand side of the spectrum. But mental health can have a huge impact because the poor mental health builds up. So if you're experiencing mental health problems and they're getting bigger and bigger and bigger, it might be a good time to seek support to move your mental health back down to the right hand side of the spectrum. And then what aspects of your personality can have an impact on how you work from home and how you feel working from home? Well, the first one is, are you an introvert or an extrovert? And I'll go into that in a bit more detail. The next one is then, what is your communication style? How do you communicate with people and how do you prefer to communicate? And then we'll have a little look at if you've got a butterfly brain. And in the handout that goes with this presentation, there's lots of information in there about the tests that you can do to help you understand who you are, and then think about things that you can put in place to mitigate those problems. So first of all, when we think about introvert and extrovert, we're thinking about the Myers-Briggs personality test, and that personality test helps you think about where do you get your energy from. It's not about can you go out and talk to people or are you confident or whatever in certain situations. It's more about where do you get your energy from. And if you think about it, it makes perfect sense. So extroverts get their energy from people outside of them, and they're kind of the people who will talk out loud to sort through their ideas. They communicate freely with anybody about themselves. They're gregarious and they prefer communicating in telephone or face to face. And they usually prefer to get input from as many people as possible. You'll hear the extroverts, if they've got a problem, they'll speak to everybody about it and let them know what's happening. My husband is a true extrovert. He gets so much information about issues going on. Lots of people in the Gateshead area know about me and who I am and any of the problems I've been having, because he likes to get things sorted out by talking to people and listening to people and then kind of getting it out there. So think about if you're an extrovert. Introverts, they tend to think through things before they speak. They'll talk about themselves, but only with people they know and trust. And generally, they'll kind of stay in the background. They won't talk unless they've weighed up the pros and cons and speak to people about things. And they prefer to communicate in writing, including emails or letters or whatever. And they like one-to-one conversations compared to meetings because it's easier for them to process the information that's coming in. I'm an introvert. I much prefer to communicate in writing and talking, but actually I'm a confident person, so I will go out and give presentations. And I used to do a lot of exhibitions and visiting customers and things like that. And what I used to find was that aspect of my life where I had to summon the energy to go out and promote things and talk to people and be sociable with people used to drain me, and I would need some time on my own to think about things and to build my energy back up. Whereas an extrovert, if they're in the house on their own, their energy visibly drains from them, and they need to be around people again who will talk to them. So during lockdown, my husband would spend time in the garden talking to everybody who walked up and down the street, where I was quite happy in my little office, not speaking to anybody. So if you think about if you're an introvert or an extrovert, there's a test that you can do, and it's detailed in the handout. Then the other thing to think about is, what's your communication style? Because whatever your communication style is, it can have an impact on what your mental well-being is, if you're depending on the situation you're living in. So if you're living in a household with people you don't know very well, which some people do, or you're living with your family and there's people around you all the time, sometimes you need to be assertive to say what you want. So, you know, if you need the space, you need the computer, etc. If you're assertive and you say, I need this computer at this time, and the other person listens and takes it into control, then that's absolutely fine. But if you're passive aggressive and you go, you know, oh, well, it doesn't matter, and then sit there and quietly seethe, that's having a massive impact on your mental well-being. So think about, do I actually say what I need, or do I sit and seethe in the background and think about what should be happening? And if that other person understood me, they would know that I hadn't said it was, when I said it was fine, it really wasn't fine. And try to move your communication style to the more assertive. Think about what it is, what you want, and actually say that. And then try and have a discussion where you come to a dialogue, because you want to have a win-win situation, not a situation where you're losing and the other person's losing out. And then the other thing that has a huge impact on your mental well-being at home is if you've got a butterfly brain. You know, you can be doing some research and then 10 web pages later you think, oh my God, I haven't done that thing that I need to do. And if you've naturally got a butterfly brain, there are lots of different things that you can do to think about how you manage your workload. So recognizing that you've got a butterfly brain, recognizing that you find it hard to concentrate, means that you can then kind of divide your jobs up into little small chunks through the day, and that might work for you better. And there's lots of hints and tips in the handout that's accompanying the presentation. So what can you do? Well, certainly I would suggest doing the tests. There's a test in the handout, one for your introversion or extroversion to get an idea of who you are, and the other one to help you understand what your communication style is. Then identify if you've got a butterfly brain, and then think about the things that you can do to kind of right the situation. So if you are an extrovert and you're stuck at home totally on your own, what can you do to build up that energy you need? Can you organize some Zoom sessions with your friends, etc.? Can you meet up and go out now that the lockdown's ended a little bit, or kind of scaled back a bit? And if you're an introvert stuck in a house full of people that you don't really know, or it's your family and you just can't bear having people around all the time, where can you go to get some space? And then your communication style will be linked to that. So if you need space and you know you just want half an hour on your own and you get really bad tempered about it, that's going to have an impact on everybody else around you. So thinking about your style and your communication style can really help you to mesh things through. And then have a look at the hints and tips about what you can do if you're a butterfly brain, if you tend to go off down the wrong track. And part of it is being honest with your manager or the person who's expecting you to do an amount of work. Be honest about when's the best time for you to do it. Do you concentrate more in the morning or the evening or the afternoon? And can you do your work around that time? And the more you can match your working style to your personality style, the better your mental well-being will be. So thank you for listening to the presentation. I hope you found it interesting, and if you want to go on and do some of the the tests, that would be great. And then please feel free to get in touch if you do have any questions. I'm always here for an email. So thank you very much.